let's talk about four distinct levels at which we play life from. Okay, so I'm going to share with you four very specific levels that you can play this game of life from. And as you hear these distinct levels, you may notice maybe where you play really deeply in one level, and maybe you're even starting to bridge a gap and move into another level of life. But I want to talk to you about four different players of the game of life and kind of where we all begin. So, the first level at which we enter life and we play the game of life from is going to be from this place that is easily identified as life happens to me. All right. So, what does it look like if I'm playing the game of life from the level of life happens to me? Well, playing the game of life from the level of life happens to me, it looks like my avatar at that level of the game is the avatar of, I know you're not going to like this, but it's the avatar of the victim. All right. Because life is happening to me. And so I am constantly waiting to see what's going to happen in life. And then I'm reacting to whatever it is that's happening in my life. And it's the one that is looking for something or someone to save them from their circumstance, right? So every time something is happening in life, the player at the level of life happens to me is constantly looking for a solution outside of themselves. So this is where they look to their government, they look to their community, they're looking to doctors and health professionals for things like their healing or things like their financial stability, right? They're looking to their job to provide for them. They're looking to other people to come maybe and rescue them out of their terrible situation, maybe their parents or their family members or friends or other people that they have decided are more fortunate than them or have more resources than they do. So everything exists outside of them in terms of help and support. These are people that are constantly hoping to win the lottery because it will relieve all of their financial burdens, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that they are looking for solution in places that it's like, oh, if I could just get an inheritance, if I just had an inheritance, then I'd be resolved of all my financial issues. If I could finally just find a relationship, then I'd finally be happy, right? So everything is external to them. The power that they're looking for, the satisfaction they're looking for, the fulfillment they're looking for, it exists in the world around them. At least that's what they think. And so they're constantly going and giving themselves away in different places, trying to find relief. Okay. And their constant or more regular state of thought is usually worry or anxiety, a lot of fear. They are definitely moved by fear in their life, afraid of if I don't do this, then I won't get ahead. If I don't do what the doctor says, then I'm not going to get well. If I don't do what my boss says, then I'm not going to get a promotion, right? If I don't do these certain things that have been told to me to do, then I'm going to be punished by karma, by life, right? A lot of fear, motivated by fear heavily. They ask the question a lot, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why did this happen to me? Why do bad things keep happening to me? Why is this my luck, right? This is the constant internal and even external language of a person that's playing the game of life at this level. It's level one, life happens to me. They usually use things like blaming, shaming, or justifying when confronted by people or circumstances in their life. They justify, they blame, or they shame in order to make themselves feel better or to not feel so much pain in their victimhood. And so their power, yes, they do have power. It is pseudo power, but their pseudo power in this first level of playing the game of life is their victim story. So they use their victim story to get attention or to make money. Social media is rampant with this. Television has been rampant with this for years and years and years. All talk shows, all the things like people would come and tell their story of hardship, tell their story of victimhood, and it would gain them attraction. It might make them sales in books. It usually makes them money. And these rags to riches kinds of stories, all of that stuff is how can I glorify the place where I felt victimized? And I'm not saying people haven't been victimized in some shape or form, especially children. What I'm talking about, though, is continuing to play life at that level of woe is me, life is hard, I've had it bad, and that's why I deserve these things. So it does get you something, right? We do things in life because there is some reward that we find attached to what we do and why we choose what we do. At this level of living, though, you are just constantly in a state of reaction, right? You're just reacting to life. And so in order for you to move to the next level of the game, you have to be willing to give up your victim story, which is very difficult for some people. Like, you have to be willing to cut ties with all of the story that ties you to being a victim of your circumstance, a victim of other people's choices and decisions, a victim of your childhood, a victim of injustices and things that you've seen as wrongs that were done to you throughout your life. You have to be willing to cut ties with those stories in order to move to the next level of playing the game, right? So that means taking responsibility for your life. You're relinquishing the story of victimhood and saying, I'm willing to start taking control of my life. I'm willing to start taking responsibility for the outcome in my life. And so that's what is required in order to move to level two. Level two is I happen to life. So the first level is life happens to me. The second level is I happen to life. This is where people often move into the place of learning about manifestation. All right. They learn that there are universal laws. There's a law of attraction. There's a law of vibration. All of these universal laws that are effective in helping us better understand the give and take that happens in life between me and the world around me, right? And so people will usually at this level start to immerse themselves in things like personal development. They'll start reading books. They'll start learning affirmative statements. They'll start using affirmations, maybe I am statements. They'll start listening to things like this that you're listening to right now, subscribing to channels like mine and others. And they start to understand that they do have power to create a life that they desire. And so they can learn to harness the power of their mind. They can learn to tune into their emotional state, and they can begin to use those things together, unify those things to begin to create a life that is more in alignment with what they really desire, so that life is not happening to them so much, but they are happening to life through their own power and harnessing of that mind, the mind directing and choosing things, right? And learning about the subconscious mind. This is that level and that layer where people start to learn about their subconscious mind and reprogramming and repatterning the subconscious mind and intentionally planting new seeds of thought in the subconscious mind. This is level two. This is I happen to life. And so the thing is that it's a great place to be. If you've been at this level of the game and you've been playing at this level of the game, it's possible that you might slip into level one from time to time. But if the majority of your life is lived from here, then you're starting to see the benefits of reprogramming and repatterning the mind and understanding your subconscious mind and its power. You're starting to see the benefits of speaking positive affirmations, of filling your life with positive reinforcement, with positive things, positive information and influence. You're starting to see the benefits of maybe you use vision boards and maybe you use meditation, and you're starting to see the benefits of those things. You're starting to find yourself in greater states of calm or ease more frequently, right? So there are benefits to being here. This level two, again, it's just level two, but it is a much more powerful place to be than the place of the victim that just feels like life is happening. Because at this level, you begin to take responsibility for the life that you're creating, and you begin to consciously choose a better life, a more pleasing set of circumstances. Doesn't mean that you don't have challenge. It just means that things are working more in your favor because you're understanding the law that upholds how life works. And so if you want to move to level three, which is the next level up, then you have to be willing to let go of attempting to control the outcome in your life. And you're like, well, hold on. I like being in charge of the outcome. I want things to work out for me. And I understand and I agree with you. However, there is a higher level to play this game, and that is level three. And so at level three, that is the level at which life happens through me. In other words, I become the channel in which life, literally the energy of life, the law of life literally flows through me. And it manifests as all of these wonderful things. Now, level 3 is the level of what I would call surrender. And this is a topic that typically really puts people on edge because in our survival state, we're afraid to surrender because surrender means either giving up or acquiescing to something that is painful or terrible. But in this level of the game, right, in the game of life, in level 3, when you come into surrender, you're actually surrendering to excellence. You're surrendering to the law of life and all of its order and harmony. So that what happens is life begins to move through you and begins to manifest perfection and ease and flow in your life, where you're not working so hard to maintain your frequency so that you can manifest your vision board desires, right? You start to relax into it. You start to relinquish the need to control an outcome, and you start to trust more of that flow of life because you've had some practice at manifesting, and that practice has increased your faith. And so at level 3, you start to becoming the person that is living in a flow of faith, which is expectancy. And so it's like you're not controlling the outcome, but you expect that everything is working together for your good. This is that level of all things are working together for my good. I know this to be true. And so I can relax and settle into the flow of life. So this is where you activate your genius code, right? This is where you begin to tap into that greater essence within you, and you begin to let it flow and move through you in such an easy way that life just starts to move in your favor all the time in every way. And this is also where your meditation game gets a lot stronger because you start to really practice tuning in to the inner world within you and taking your attention off of the outer world, right? You start to really just put the blinders on when it comes to the outer world. And you start going, this isn't serving me out here. I don't want to react to what I see. I want to be in a greater state of flow and a greater state of surrender. So I'm going to tune my attention and turn it into that part of me that is inward, that is deep within, where that peace exists, where the fullness of God exists. Abraham Hicks calls it the vortex. You're going to tune and turn your attention to the vortex, that place of joy, that place of happiness, that place of ease. And you're going to let yourself sit there for longer periods of time every day. And this becomes part of your practice. So this is level 3. It's a great level to exist at, right? To be in a state of ease where everything is working out for your good, everything is moving harmoniously in your life, and problems just easily dissolve because of you turning your attention to that inward inner state that is the truth of you, that larger part of you. However, there is a place to move, and that's level 4, right? Now, I'm only describing 4 levels. There are lots of things that happen in between these levels, lessons. We learn things about ourselves. We power up. We activate bigger parts of ourselves. All of those things happen in between. But level 4 is the level at which I'm not saying life happens through me anymore. I'm understanding that I and life are one. In other words, I am life. This is the thing that Jesus said in the scriptures over and over again. I and my Father are one. This is level 4 of our existence. This is, I'm not a channel. I am it. I am showing up. And so how do we get to that level? Well, what we have to do is from level 3 to level 4, we have to be willing to relinquish our belief in our personal story. So that temporary aspect of us, that temporary identity that we call our personality, at level 3, because of our practices, we can begin to relinquish the stronghold that that personality has over our perspective of the world around us. And we begin to understand that there is a permanent identity that is the true nature of us. And that is what we really are. And so while I have a personality and it serves me in terms of my physical interaction in the world around me, I know because of my practice that it is fleeting, that it is ever changing, that it is a temporary identity. I put on all different kinds of masks and I become this thing and I become that thing. And I play different roles in my life and with people. And at the level of personality, I can play many games within the game of life. I could play the game of marriage. I could play the game of being a parent. I could play the game of being a successful business owner, right? There are many little other games inside the game of life I play according to the level at which I experience the world around me and hold fast to my personality, which is always changing and evolving. But there is a permanent identity that I have that exists in this realm of the invisible. It is my soul, it is the truth of who I am. And moving from level 3 to level 4, I say, I relinquish all of the ties that I have to my personality here in this third dimension, and I let it dissolve any personal sense of separation that I've held between me and my soul, me and the source within me, me and God, whatever the word you want to use for that greater aspect of you. You're letting all of that sense of separation and that personal sense of I am separate from that dissolve so that you move into level 4, which is I and source are one. I and life are one. Just like Jesus said, I and my Father, which is the impetus of God. It is the law, the principle of God that is all about expression, constant expression. I am one with that force, with that life force. And so at level 4, this is total oneness. This is no more separation. I've dissolved all of the traits and characters that I've put on, and I am taking on and living fully in that oneness, that presence, that spirit of God within me. And I realize that I have this source of all life within me. It is the essence of me, and that I cannot be separate from it in any way, shape, or form. In fact, when I'm in nature, I feel one with it. When I'm with other people, I feel a sense of oneness and connection because I've begun to accept the oneness that I have with the essence of God that is the very life inside of me. And so at this level of living, you no longer have any need to manifest or demonstrate anything because your life is a constant flow of God expressing itself in the material world. And you've learned from level 3 to live at such states of ease and flow that now you're fully relaxed. And you know that every time you choose into something else, that everything you need is fully provided for. It is already there. It is already ready to meet you. And it is possible to move in and out of this level of playing the game of life. In fact, there are probably many times you've touched it. If you've ever touched the feeling, the full frequency of love, then you have touched this level of playing the game of life. And in this level of playing the game of life, you become what we call a master to an extent that love is the frequency that you operate from on a more consistent basis. I am certain that there are people that have mastered it to the point that they're just in a state and frequency of love the majority of the time that they're in their physical body. And so this is a level at which you can play the game of life. And so to know that there are these levels, these are ways that we are naturally evolving. So I don't want you to think that you've got to go stress yourself to jump to being a new level, a new character in the game, because you are going to naturally evolve into these states and these levels if you will allow yourself the opportunity to grasp that you are bigger than the body that you see, that you are more than the characters that you've aligned yourself to, that you're more than the roles that you play and the other small games you're playing within the larger game of life. But these 4 levels are important for us to be aware of, because when we create from certain levels, we can only move so far, right? So if I'm trying to create, but I'm living in a state of victimhood, then it makes sense that bad stuff and things that I don't like just perpetuate in my life because I'm constantly complaining. I'm constantly worried. I'm constantly in an anxious state. I'm constantly asking, why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? Why doesn't anyone ever give me a break? Right. And so that's what I'm creating, because I am naturally a creator. Doesn't matter whether I know my power or not, I'm still using the powerful tool of creation within me because that's what's coded inside of me. So if I can become aware of that and drop my victim story, I can move to the next level, which is manifestation, which is, oh my gosh, I can use the laws of creation and I can work in harmony with them to create what I really desire. And so I begin practicing that. I begin practicing the laws of manifestation, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, I start letting things being revealed in my life in a way that's pleasing to me. And I get more good than I get bad. And so I keep working at it until the good starts to really outweigh all the difficulty that I've had. And then from there, I can understand like, oh, I could actually move into a greater state of surrender, a greater state of flow. So I need to give up the need to control. And it has to be like this. It has to look like this. I want this. I need this. And talking in that way, and even using the law to manipulate it to be that way. And now I can start to relax and trust that the flow of life is always working for my good, that it's always working things out, and that the flow of life actually wants to bring me into bigger things than I can conceive of from that second level of playing the game. So in level 3, even bigger things can manifest through me because that law of life is so great and so magnificent. It wants more for me. And then from there, when I've learned how to relax and I've learned how to trust the inner presence, the inner divine infinite intelligence of God in me, when I've learned how to trust it more, I can really begin to feel those two things merging, this personality of me merging with the essence of me that is forever. And it just melts away all of that mask that I've been wearing, all of the ways I've been showing up in the world saying, I am this person, I am this thing. It starts to melt it away until I'm just God, until I'm just love. I am just the frequency of love. And I know that my essence of love showing up in the world, expressing itself in the world, is going to benefit not just me, but everything and everyone around me. So these are the ways that we can show up and play the game of life. I wonder what level you are playing your life at right now. And what have you noticed about fluctuating in and out of other levels of playing this game? You're welcome to leave comments here on this video. I hope that you will like and share this content. I hope it's been helpful to you to just identify some things for yourself about where you are and where you'd like to be. And follow me here because I'll be sharing more next week.